Is look for greatest common factor. So again, did everybody change that 6 to an 8? All right, so what's the greatest common factor that we can take out of all three terms? This one has x cubed, this has an x squared, and this has just an x. But what do they all have that we can take away? X. So let's divide everything by x. So this will be A, B, and C. So we need two numbers that would multiply to give you -8 and add to a -2. Because if we take A times C, that's 1 times -8, we get -8. And then B is -2. So we got to find our two numbers that will multiply to give you -8 and add to -2. Does anybody know what our numbers would be? They multiply to give you -8 and add to -2. Isaiah? -4 and +2. So let's put our -4x and our +2x. Go ahead and take out your GCFs. So in this, we really have x times x, and then we have a 4 times x, 2 times x, and a 4 times 2. So go ahead, take out your GCFs. So we're going to take out an x and an x. So that would be here. And then we're going to take out a 2 and a 2. So that would be here. And then what's left? So we have an x and an x that we can take out of that first column. And then the last column has 4s. But we have to take out a -4 because it's on top of a -4. So that means that my three factors would be x, and then I have x plus 2, and then I have x minus 4. All right, so that's my factors. Now we're going to solve it. So we're going to set all three of these factors equal to 0. So we got x equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0, and x minus 4 equals 0. Go ahead and solve all three of those equations. Now the first one is already solved because we got x equals 0. The next two are not solved. So I'm going to subtract the 2 from both sides because it's x plus 2, and the opposite of adding 2 is to subtract 2. So that would be x equals -2. And then what do I have to do to solve this equation? It says x minus 4. What's the opposite of subtracting 4? Addition. Good job. So I'm going to add the 4. And we get x equals 4. All right, any questions about that? All right, so now we're going to talk about a box plot today. We're going to practice. We probably could finish it all today, but we're only going to do the next 2 examples, and then we'll finish out the packet tomorrow. So we're on page 4 in your notes. And we're talking about a box plot. So a box plot, in order to do a box plot, we have to introduce 2 new terms that we haven't talked about. The first one is a lower quartile. Lower quartile means it's the median of the lower half. That's what the lower quartile represents. The upper quartile is the median of the upper half of our data. And the interquartile range, we have to take the upper quartile and subtract from that the lower quartile. So lower quartile, I'm abbreviating that with LQ, and upper quartile UQ. Some people call this a box plot, and some books call it a box and whisker plot. Now, there is 5 numbers that you have to use in order to create a box plot. I'm going to list those 5 numbers over here. The 5 numbers is the minimum, the maximum, the median, and then we have to use the lower quartile and the upper quartile. And that's called the 5-number summary. So when we're looking at a box plot, this is called the left whisker. This is your minimum. So if you're looking at this, it looks like the minimum is right about at 30. So that would be your minimum. And then we have the right whisker. That's your maximum. So it's kind of hard to see where that one is, but it looks like it's halfway between 210 and 230 approximately. So I'm going to say it's about 220. And you'll have to do, a little bit of approximation when you take your quiz next week. The median is that middle line. It might be kind of light in your notes, but in the photocopy that I made, but that median is the middle line. It's in the middle of the box. And that looks to me, again, like it's halfway about between 110 and 130. So I'm going to say that it's about 120. Now the left edge of the box is the lower quartile, because remember, it's the median of the lower half. And if you trace that down, I'm going to round that up to 70. It's probably a little less than 70, but I'm going to round it up a little bit.
So if there was something like that, like if we were to do, because for me it was like 59. So if we were to look at 59.
Yeah, anything between 50 and 70 is fine. Yeah, because we really can't tell exactly what it is, so we're just making the best approximation we can.
Oh.
So here, this would be your upper quartile. And that looks to me like, again, it's something between 150 and 170. I'm just going to approximate it to be 160. But that is your 5-number summary. So going to the next page, go ahead and answer what those, looking at this box plot, let's go ahead and find the 5-number summary. So again, this, sometimes it's a dash, sometimes it's a dot. So this is your minimum, which looks like it is about what? What would you say that minimum would be? It's about 13. And then over here is your maximum. Let me write it on here. This is the minimum. This is the maximum. The maximum looks like it's about 35. Now remember, the middle of the box is your median. And that looks like it's about halfway between. I'm going to round it to, I guess we could say it's 20. It's between 20 and 21, but I'm going to say it's, well, I guess we could say it's 20.5. We'll be trying to be. So that's the median. Let me zoom in. That's the middle of your box. And then we have the edge. That is your lower quartile, which looks to me that it's about, let me see, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, I'm going to say it's about 16. And if your answers, when you do this on the test, if they're not exactly mine, so if you put 15.5 or 15, as long as you're close to it, that's what matters the most. Because again, with this scale, it's kind of hard to know exactly what it would be. And then lastly, we have our upper quartile. Which, what does that look like to you, the upper quartile?
28.
Yeah, I would say about 28. Now, to find the inner quartile range, that's the only number that you can't see. You have to do some subtraction. So you have to take the upper quartile and subtract from that the lower quartile. So I'm going to take these two numbers and subtract them. And that's how you get the inner quartile range. So that would be 28 minus 16, which is 12. I was about to say 22. All right, so on the homework and on the test, you're going to need to create your own box plot. So let's do that one together. And the first thing I want you to do, before you create a box plot, so the back half of your homework, you have to create box plots. The first step is to put the numbers in order from smallest to greatest. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to create a 5-number summary, but before we do anything, we need to put these numbers in order. So the smallest number I see, I'm looking at this list, the smallest number is 2. And then what's the next smallest number? Is it 7? 5. And I like to cross them out as I go along so I don't accidentally use the same number more than once. Yep. So we have 7. We have 2 of them, so we have to write them both. And then after 7, what's the next number? 9. Oh, there's an 8. We got to put the 8. And then we put our 9. Let's see, is there a 10? No. 11. Is there a 10? Oh, it is a 10. Thank you. Let's put the 10. And then is there an 11? No. What about a 12? Yep, we got a 12. And then I see 113. And then I see 2 14s. And then I see a 16. And I see an 18. So what I'm going to do, before I start making, because I would hate to do my work and then figure out that I left off a number. So but before I do anything, I want everybody to count how many numbers we have here. So how many numbers do we have? 1, 2, 13. Who got 13? All right, so now count these. Make sure we still have 13, that we didn't drop a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we ready to go. So the easiest to find is the minimum and the maximum. So the lowest number in our list is 2. The highest number in our list is 18. Now we need to find the median of our list. So what number is directly in the middle? What number would be in the middle?
Number 10.
10. Let me see. If I pick 10, let me make sure. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the left. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the right. So I would agree that 10 is my median. All right, so now what we need to do is look at the lower half. So that's only these 6 numbers. Looking at those, that's called our lower half. What's the median of the numbers that you see highlighted in green? Because the median of that list is called my lower quartile. Now, when we're looking at that, you see how we have 2 7s in the middle? We have to average them. Anytime there's more than one number, if there's 2 numbers, we have to average them. But we take the average. If we take 7 plus 7 and divide it by 2, we get 7. So that means our lower quartile is 7. And then let's do the same thing with the upper half. So that would be these blue numbers. What's the middle of the blue numbers? What number would you say?
14.
Okay. And then to find the inner quartile range, again, we subtract these 2 numbers. So that would be 14 minus 7, which is 7. Now, we don't use this number to make our box plot. That's the only number that we don't use. So now what I want you to do is above this number line, we're going to make 5 dashes above each number. So I'm going to make a dash above 2. That's my minimum. So go ahead and put a dash right there. And then I'm going to put a dash above 18. That's my maximum. And then median is 10. So go ahead and find 10. Put a little line there. And then lower quartile is 7. Put a line right there. Upper quartile is 14. Put a line right there. Now to create your box plot, we simply connect the 3 middle ones together to create our box. So go ahead and draw 2 lines to connect the middle. And then we're going to draw our whisker that go from here to here. And that's how you create a box and whisker plot. Now, again, we could finish it today because this is not a hard lesson. But I want you to use this time because we only have one last homework assignment. You should have the entire front side finished. on the back, start putting the numbers in order. We're going to practice creating more box plots tomorrow. Yes. Absolutely. All right, couple of announcements. This homework is still due Friday, but our quiz, and we decided to make it a quiz because we think it'll be an easy A. Our quiz has been moved to Tuesday, which I don't know the date of that. I think that's the 10th. Today is the 4th. The 10th, yeah, thank you. That's when we're going to have our little quiz. All right, everybody start working on your homework. If you have questions, come